but we should start with yesterday. We broke the news on the show that Greg Roman mutually decided to walk away from the Ravens, of course, the offensive coordinator. We've got John Harbaugh talking about Lamar Jackson. I want to play this for you and have you react. Go ahead, Elliot.
100%, 200%. There's no question about it. Lamar Jackson is our quarterback. I mean, he's been our quarterback. Everything we've done in terms of building our offense and building our team, how we think in terms of people and put people around him, is based on this incredible young man and his talent and his ability.
It's time. It's selling season. He had his jacket. He had his collar, John Harbaugh, on there, and he said it's not 100%. It's 200%. They're going to bring Lamar back. What's your thoughts there?
Well, I think, to me, the football teams have to be age-wise aligned, right? You can't be too young and you can't be too old, right? You can't be in between. And what the Niners are doing is somewhat unique, having a rookie quarterback with a team that's ready to win a Super Bowl. That, on paper, that typically never works out. But they have one of the best offensive minds in all of football, along with the best play caller. So they kind of have been able to manage this through, right? So I think, to me, what John's saying is, from an executive standpoint, I kind of have to agree with them that if they're going to trade in Lamar, like, where are they going? Like, their team wants to win now. They're not of the mindset that we're going to rebuild. Like, I get the Rams. Let's use them as an example. They want Stafford back. They're going to go all in again. They're just digging the hole deeper for them to get out of when eventually they get out of it, because the further they go down with Stafford, the more they put off they have to kind of rebuild this team, unless they make a dramatic turn and try to do it while Stafford's the quarterback. I don't know that. So to me, timing of years and the symmetry between the players that you currently have has to be aligned. And I think that's why I would suspect what John's saying is true, because they're not good enough to do what San Francisco's doing, have a rookie quarterback and a team ready to win a Super Bowl.
Don't have the weapons, for sure. And they have control, right? They being the Ravens. It would piss them off. It would make Lamar upset, but they could simply franchise him.
Well, they have to franchise him, and here's why. I mean, so his value in the open market is far greater than a third-round pick, okay? So for them, they have to protect their assets. So they franchise him. They make sure no one can talk to him. And then they say, deal with us. We'll do a deal. We want to do a deal. And look, I've never seen the franchise not work out for any player except for Le'Veon Bell, who decided to just skip the whole season and waste all the money and then come around and say it was no big deal. I got it all back. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Your career ended at that point. So, like, it works for players. Just ask Kirk Cousins. It works.
Yeah, remember, 2 years in a row. I don't know if that was unprecedented, but maybe for a quarterback to get franchised twice. And you can franchise a third time, but it comes with a big ticket, right, as far as the cost. Mm-hmm. And he gambled on himself, went to Minnesota, and he's been paid ever since. So it's worked out for him.
It worked out.
What happens with Lamar?
Well, I mean, basically they say, Lamar, look, we're going to franchise you. Let's have a meeting. Let's figure out how we can come to some resolution of doing a long-term deal. And there's got to be some give and take on both sides. He's going to want a fully guaranteed contract. The Ravens are going to say no. How do you mediate and kind of find a compromise of a position? Because at the end of the day, the Ravens are going to say, look, you're our quarterback. We're not getting rid of you. We're not trading you. Right. And, you're going to have to play. If you want to play football, you're going to play here. That's a powerful argument. If you want to play football, you're going to have to play here. Mike Brown makes that argument all the time. That's why the Jesse Bates holdout this summer was ridiculous. Like, Jesse, what are you holding out for? You're not going to – Mike Brown is not going to buckle. Like, he's been down this road since 1950. Like, he ain't buckling.
Posturing by Lamar. And, again, it's a little secretive because he is represented by his mother, so we don't really know what's going on with them. We know he was injured. Let me ask you this way. Will he have say – in the offensive coordinator? Like, there's been so much thrown around whether or not he's a running quarterback, a pro quarterback. Your son was there at Louisville with Petrino. He can throw the football. They ran a pro-style offense. That's not an issue.
Right. I mean, as I've said, because of my knowledge of him, he needs to be under. I mean, look, I've been screaming for them to change offenses for 3 years. I don't know how John Harbaugh and anybody could sit there and watch that offense that Greg Roman runs and think it has a pro passing game in it. Like, I don't understand. You can't win if you can't throw the ball if you get behind. You can't win when you need to make plays in 2 minutes. You can't win if you don't have a pro passing game. We're not a service academy. You can be good like they are, and you can promote that he's got all these rushing records that they've been so good at, which is wonderful. But remember, when Roman was in Buffalo, he got fired by Rex Ryan because they had no passing game. They had no passing game. He got fired at like the third game of the year. And They paid – remember, that was when he was as hot as could be, and he got from the San Francisco days with Kaepernick. But what's from Kaepernick to Buffalo to Baltimore, Greg's never developed a passing game. And so, like, all these people would say, well, we're going to get hired at the Jets. Okay, great. You can hire him at the Jets. You'll run the ball. It'll be fine. But if you get behind the game, you're not going to win.
These quarterbacks are a finite commodity, Michael. He just, as you mentioned in your article, he just turned 26. He's a league MVP. He's remarkably talented. His teammates love him. He's a great dude. There's no reason. That's why he said not 100%, 200%. He's saying this guy's not going anywhere, and we're going to make sure of that. So whether or not Lamar wants to stay, most likely he'll be staying with the Baltimore Ravens.
No doubt. I think there's no doubt he stays with the Ravens. And I think, to me, now I say that, but there could be a caveat here, because what happens if they just can't, they get, at some point they're going to get frustrated. At some point they're going to do that. And I think if they do that, could there be something that changes? Perhaps. But look, like I said, you're planning your team. You're in a strategic meeting to win a Super Bowl. You're in a strategic meeting to compete. You can't remove the best player on your team. I think what they said wrongly is we've done everything to build around them. No, you haven't. No, you haven't, because that offense wasn't conducive for him. It really has never been. He needs to be under center more. I'm not saying he shouldn't be in shotgun, but he needs to run. As I've said many times, the only play in pro football that the quarterback actually blocks somebody is on a bootleg or a naked. So somebody's got to run out there with him. And when you don't allow him to do that, and you put him in this read RPO, I think it just becomes more problematic. And as he gets older, you got to plan for when he gets older, and he doesn't have that elite quickness, and he doesn't have that elite athleticism. Now your offense falls off the cliff. So let's develop an offense that can take advantage of his running, but also takes advantage of his ability to throw the football.
Early whispers on the offensive coordinator there for the Ravens. Obviously, the Harbaugh connections you know of, but are you hearing names right now early on as far as the OC?
I haven't heard any. I'm going to be fascinated to see where they go with this. I really am. I'm going to be fascinated, because for me, I think this is going to tell us a lot about what offense they think they need to run. See, this isn't about. See, to me, this is backwards, right? They're going to try to hire somebody to come in and install an offense. And I think John Harbaugh should hire somebody who's going to run the offense that he tells them to run. See the difference here? So, I want under center. These are the 5 things I have to have. It's not your offense. It's the Raven offense. But I don't know if John's going to do that.
It's just interesting, because if you're a team, and we can talk about them, the Colts, if you're a team like the Colts, imagine they're in quarterback purgatory. I mean, they just have nothing. If you have nothing at the position, there's no hope. And by the way, they may have nothing at head coach, because you saw your buddy Jordan Schultz's report that looks like Jeff Saturday's the leader in the clubhouse there for the Colts head coaching position, which you've talked about. This is what the owner wants to do. I don't know how he's going to get killed if he does it, but look, what I find unfair is, Jeff Saturday's in line for that job. Poor Lou Anarumo's been coaching defense forever. He can't get an interview. Wink gets one interview, right? Brian Callahan, who doesn't even call plays on the Bengals, and I like Brian. I've known him since he was 10 years old. And he will have his day, but Lou Anarumo is the glue that holds that Bengal. If you're betting the Bengals and the points today, you're betting Joe Burrow and Lou Anarumo. That's what you're betting. Imagine what Wink Martindale is thinking. He's, 56 years old. He's a lifer. Ben Johnson, who dialed up some nice plays for Jared Goff and the Lions, is 36 years old, and he's the belle of the ball. It's like, Wink's looking around like, what the hell do I have to do? I just turned around a defense with the Giants, ran a great defense with the Ravens, or as I should say, Sir Wink Martindale.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.